This is too hot. I mean, too hot. Sibiya was attacked from different angles by the entire panel of commissioners at the Madlanga Commission. These were his own words. I feel oppressed. Obviously, he has seen a jail term coming, and he couldn't help but break down in fear and cry. Do you think he should be jailed? Or did Mukwenazi and Senthumule deliberately set him up to disband the PKTT docket? Let's have your opinion. And please, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more updates.
You do your own thing. And what you do is not based on anything that the National Commissioner asked you to do. He asked you to communicate, which you do. You communicate. 2, he says, prepare an activation plan, which you do. You present it to him on the 14th, but you do a third thing. You implement immediately. You give instructions to implement and deactivate. That is not contained anywhere in writing that we have seen. It's not in SS9, and if you're and so far you've relied only on SS9. So, and if that's the only thing you're relying on, what I'm putting to you is SS9 doesn't give you that instruction, so you acted without instruction because that's what you're relying on. It follows. You acted without instruction, and that's what it is, General. You can comment lastly if whatever the chair allows you to do, but I don't think there's any point in doing this because we are going around cycle. You insist that you acted on the basis of SS9, and I guess we'll evaluate it for what it is. But that is your evidence. I guess we have to accept your evidence is you acted on SS9.
Feel free to comment, General.
I feel oppressed, Chair.
No, feel free to comment.
I feel oppressed in a sense that this is an official process. It's not a private process, it's an official process coming from the minister to the national commissioner to me. We are all in it. Now, when the national commissioner chose to do something with General Khumalo, which he never alerted me to. He never said to me, leave it, I will do it. And then went and did it somewhere with General Khumalo when I don't know. And I kept on communicating and doing things, hoping that I'm doing that, what the National Commissioner also expected me to do. And then in the meantime, later, it transpired that, he was doing his own thing. But what pains me the most is the fact that even the same letter that I know is going around in circle, but even the same letter, this letter, comes from the National Commissioner's office. Now, although I own it because I had to sign it, it just kills me to see how the commissioners are rejecting it, that it comes from the National Commissioner's office. It was prepared from the National Commissioner's office, even though I signed it, I accept that. But be that as it may, Chair, I accept. And I don't want to really make the commissioners angry. I accept this point, and whatever direction it takes, I'll accept it, Chair.
Thank you, General.
We don't lose docket, and we don't have any docket failing to go to court because of the process. It's just a simple administrative process.
Yes, but you see the difference between what you're saying now and what you say in this letter is that you don't say in this letter that the dockets should go to murder and robbery. You say the transfer of all dockets closed currently under investigation and in court must go to division, detective and forensic services.
Murder and robbery
yes.
falls under that.
So you're saying what you actually meant was that it should go to murder and robbery?
Yes.
That's what you meant when you wrote this?
That is General Senthumule.
General Senthumule has given evidence to this commission and testified that she was placed under pressure to collect the dockets, placed under pressure from you to take possession of the dockets. What's your response to that?
I would agree.
Okay. And General Khumalo has also testified and speaks specifically to this period after the 4th of February, the letter. And he said that between 4 Feb and particularly after 4 Feb, he said it was during that period that the divisional commission, that General Senthumule was pressing him to hand over the dockets to her. So you agreed that her understanding was that she must take possession of it.
Can I explain something, Chair? Please do take into account the fact that there was already a presentation made in Parliament and an action plan was made by General Khumalo himself that says this is the action plan, this is what we are going to do.
It wasn't yet. There was no such thing at this point in February. This period between, I said, after the 4 February letter.
No, we are in the 22nd of April now.
Now, I was referring you to the pressure that was being applied on General Senthumule in February to take, as you agreed, to take possession of the documents, of the dockets.
I just feel that I'm being punished for being effective, in a sense that if I try to say, let us move and let us make sure that we don't keep things lying around, let this handing over be finalized, it's a problem because now someone was being pressured into bringing the docket, and which is, we were working within the official instruction coming from the minister to the national commissioner to us. And we are at all material terms complying with the national commissioner's instruction to make sure that we push the handing over process.
So now you're saying it was the national commissioner who gave the instruction to push this process? Because earlier when I asked you about these letters, you said, no, this was your responsibility. You took initiative on this.
But the letter or the email that was written to me on the 3rd of January was directing me to get involved, communicate the minister's directive to the relevant team, and then the subsequent meetings that happened, that took place. Those subsequent meetings were in relation to the disbandment itself and making sure that the minister's instruction is adhered to. And that was what was happening. Now, everything was happening in the normal course of duty, in the same spirit of we are complying with the instructions. So I was, even if I was acting myself, acting whatever letter that I wrote, it was still within the instruction that I received to say this is where we are going.
Change of investigators would result in disruption. I will leave it at that. Thank you, General.
Thank you, Chair.
Sorry, can I ask 2 questions? General, I'm worried that you have contradicted yourself or I misunderstood you. Remember on the first day when you came here, I asked you a question. Was your instruction to General Khumalo that the PKTT dockets must be transferred to the DT? And that was, your answer was yes. Do you remember that?
I do.
Yes. So there was no instruction that General Senthumule must go to KZN and simply inspect dockets. Do you accept that?
I do.
The instruction was that they must be taken away from PKTT and be given to detective and forensic services, correct?
That is correct.
Yes. So when you now say to the chair, all that needed to happen was that they needed to go to KZN and simply inspect the dockets and not bring them to Pretoria. That was not the instruction that you gave. Unless you can show us in the documents that are in our possession where your instruction was clear that the dockets are not to leave KZN. Are you able to show us a document that you have penned or written that says the dockets are not to leave KZN?
Just to quickly answer on saying, no, there is no such an instruction where it says the Dockets are not to leave KZN.
Now pause there. Where is General Senthumule based? Where is her office?
She's based at head office.
In?
Head office.
In
Pretoria.
In Pretoria. So if Dockets are to be transferred to her, where would they naturally go?
The same applies to General Khumalo.
No, I'm not asking about General Khumalo. I'm saying if PKTT Dockets are to be transferred to General Senthumule, who is based in Pretoria, where would they naturally go?
Where they will naturally go is to go to the Deputy Provincial Commissioner Crime Detection in KZN.
But General Senthumule is not in KZN. You have just said yourself that Dockets were to be transferred to General Senthumule. That was your instruction.
You see, in all fairness, Chair, in all fairness, what under normal circumstances should have happened was for General Senthumule and General Khumalo to fly down to KZN, do the handing over among themselves, and for General Senthumule to hand over the Dockets to the provincial commissioner or to the deputy provincial commissioner responsible for crime detection, under whose command murder and robbery unit falls. She didn't, and she's not the one basically who also brought the Dockets to head office. They were brought by crime intelligence by General Khumalo himself to head office.
No, General. General Senthumule and Brigadier Khopoditata went to KZN. We've had that evidence already. My simple question is this. Is there an instruction by you that General Senthumule must hand those Dockets to the provincial detective services?
May I correct the commissioner? The files were brought by a Colonel Khumalo from KZN to General Khumalo, the project coordinator at head office. This was not supposed to be the case. So General Senthumule never went to KZN.
General, remember my question was, can you show us your instruction? Remember in SAPS we work with instructions. So they report to you, you give them instructions. And you've accepted that your instruction was that General Khumalo must hand over the Dockets to General Senthumule. Now you are saying to us, General Senthumule should have handed them to the head of the detectives in the province. That's what you say. Can you show us your instruction where you say to General Senthumule she must hand them to the head of provincial detectives? It either exists or it doesn't. If it exists, can you please show it to us?
Commissioner, in a normal working environment, I understand I'm now in the commission or before the commission. Just like when I'm in court, then when maybe the prosecutor or the magistrate or the judge will say, show us this. But what happened is that General Senthumule called General Mkopozi to say, now we need to take over this docket. And then General Mkopozi said, you must please speak to the PC before I sign for this docket. That's when General Senthumule called the PC. And the PC said, I've never acted on my own other than this is part of the implementation of the decision that has already been taken. Now, having been assigned to conduct a particular exercise, I don't always have to receive a letter from the National Commissioner. This was now my own instance following up or giving orders in terms of what needs to happen.
Okay, so this was at your own instance, this letter?
That is correct.
And if you see paragraph 5 of this letter, you direct the Divisional Commissioner, Detective and Forensic Services, which is General Senthumule, correct?
That is correct.
You direct her to engage with General Khumalo, correct?
Correct?
With a view to do a proper handing over. Do you see that? And
That is correct.
And then you say what that handover should include. And in paragraph 5.3, you say all cases or projects, documentation relevant to the political killings task team. So it's clear from this letter that you're saying to her that she should engage with General Khumalo to hand over to you all cases or projects, documentation relevant to the political killings task team. And then, just to be complete, you say in the concluding paragraph that she's required to ensure that this is done within 7 days. So what I'm saying to you is that contrary to what you're saying now, that there was no instruction to do it, there does appear to be an instruction for the dockets, amongst other things, because it says cases or projects, documentation, all material, electronic recordings, all evidential material to be handed over.
That's the instruction.
That is the instruction.
Yes.
You agree?
Yes.
So it's clear then that General Senthumule was going to take possession of the dockets and all of the evidentiary material.
That's correct.
Okay. And that's at your instruction.
Yes.
Thank you.
May I clarify something?
Yes.
But taking possession by General Senthumule doesn't physically mean that she's the one who's going to go there, get the docket, get everything, put in the car and bring to head office. It means that now it is under her direct control.
Well, I agree with you. It doesn't say that she should go and collect it. What you say is that she should engage with General Khumalo to hand it over to her.
That's correct.
Right. And she is, as Commissioner Khumalo put to you, and you've accepted, is based in Pretoria. So the only place where she could receive it is Pretoria.
No.
You say no.
Yes.
How else would she receive it then?
If the PKTT is based in Durban and it is about the work in KZN, simplest thing to do was General Senthumule and General Khumalo to fly down to KZN, meet, even if they went with the team, meet, do the handing over in KZN, and then they fly back, it is done.
I don't understand how that would work in practice. Where would the dockets go?
Exactly what I directed to say, let them go to murder and robbery unit.
Where?
No, you said to a repository, please. I'm sorry, Mr. Sim. You said to a repository to be established by General Senthumule. I'm sorry, Mr. Sim. And you also agreed that that could have been Pretoria. You may continue, Mr. Sim.
Thank you, Chair. Just to your message and your instruction has been consistent in all of these implementation. Your SS13, the 4 February letter. Let me take you to one more letter then. It's SS21. It's a letter 22 April.
I've got it, Chair.
So I think that this makes it, the interpretation that we are proposing to you is made abundantly clear here. If you look in paragraph 2 of this letter, the last sentence says, Okay, let me read the whole paragraph. In compliance with the directive of the Minister of Police on 31 December 2024 and subsequent directives on the matter, you are advised that this process should be finalized by Thursday, 24 April 2024. This includes the transfer of all dockets, closed, currently under investigation, and in court, to the Division Detective and Forensic Services. There's nothing ambiguous about this directive.
I agree.
All of this was to be transferred to General Senthumule.